Hey, everyone. It is the Let's Get Loud podcast with J and A. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
How are you?
morning. I'm only okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, first of all, I went through the drama of like getting my nose burned off.
Let's talk about that. How was that?
It was fine. It was I'm grateful that I had access to a dermatologist and I was able to see her
Oh,
so quickly, and
yeah.
she didn't think it was anything super serious, but she was like that like sunspots turn into cancer. So you're here. You said you've had this for a while. Let's just burn it off.
Okay, cool.
So went through that trauma, which I don't care. I realize I really don't care what I look like.
Oh, yeah. I
Like I like some people would have like not gone out, wore a hat. I was just like, here I am. And
yeah, no, it doesn't stop the show. Yeah.
the show must go on. And
Yeah.
then people kept being like, what happened to your nose? What happened to your nose? What happened to your nose? And I was
Like
like,
on
oh,
social media or in public.
both.
My God.
Every like 24 hours I felt the need to tell on my stories what had happened to
Right.
my
Because it,
nose.
okay, I see.
So I've recovered from that and now I'm getting a sty.
Oh, I saw that last night. Shit. Yeah, that's annoying. It doesn't show though.
Not yet. I put a warm compress. I'm hoping one warm compress fixed it.
I imagine.
It's there still. I don't That's not something that's common for me.
I've had those for sure. I haven't had one in a while, but I've had those for sure. I don't know what causes that.
Sometimes it can be just like if you're using like old makeup or something,
Oh
there's like a
yeah,
little bit of
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
bacteria kind of thing.
Okay.
That's not it. I don't have can't even remember last time I put makeup on my face.
Yeah.
And then I'm fighting. I'm fighting a cold.
Oh, is that what I'm hearing? Okay, when we were talking earlier, I heard something.
Yeah, I'm winning. So I'm still winning, but I just barely.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, meh. It's also like cold. And but like not just cold, like not Jose cold, like it's actually cold for everyone right now.
Correct.
Um, but I think it was something called Blue Monday. I didn't know what that was, but it's like something on Monday. I saw that on the internet. And then someone at Spin was like, it's Blue Monday today. How do you feel? And I was like,
Yeah.
I had my migraine on Monday. And by evening it was better. So I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And then I'm like, I saw that on the internet today. Is it like a specific day about winter blues?
Kind of,
Okay,
yeah. It's just like in general the day that people, because like the holidays are over,
I
it's still
see.
like dark at night in the morning, and it's
Yeah.
just like a time that people are down in the dumps.
Yeah, I think it's the most important time to, yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, everyone that's listening is kind of from anywhere, but a lot of people are probably from where we're from. It is cold, it is uh, dark. Um, Someone was saying during my coaching, she's like, how can I'm not being consistent. I'm feeling meh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, consistent on what? Like, I feel like sometimes you guys, you need to be more specific on what you're talking about because you're really generalizing. Oh my God, Alicia's face. You're really generalizing. And I'm like, consistent on what are you trying to be consistent on? And then we can like figure out why you're not being consistent with that one thing. But yeah, and we were just, she's saying like, I feel like in the winter, like I just don't want to move my body. I was like, hey, you're not motivated moving your body. Because I like to move my body outside. And I mean, ultimately, I'm like, oh, I can relate to that because I do really enjoy being outside and moving my body outside, but only when it is hot. So what do I do in the winter? Anyway, so literally I'm like for anything, whether it's movement or whether it's what you're eating or how you're spending your time, I think that it's different in the season of winter versus summer. Um, and of course, if you're not finding things that really light you up in the winter, you're gonna be fucking bored and sad and just staying inside, which you can still be inside somewhere else, but somewhere where you feel happy and fulfilled. But like think of even like how in the winter my routine's different. Like I really look forward to date night just because there's not a lot of time with Jeff at all during the week. It's like, the sports and then we're here, we're there. So it's like, oh, I really like Saturday. Like Saturday is really important versus in the summer, less sports. We're together every day. He works from home. You know what I mean? Like we don't even do date nights on Saturdays in the summer. So I'm like, basically what to keep me going and happy looks different in a different season.
And that is such an important skill that you're able to check in with yourself. And maybe we need to like create like some sort of like, I don't know, webinar or coaching session or
Mm.
something that really helps people identify what the actual problem is. But I can do that with people. Like we do a group coaching session within our community group, guys, where Jose and I each show up and we're just like, okay, tell us what's happening. And then we coach people live and other people can watch. And through that process, we're really realizing that a lot of people are actually struggling to really identify what the true problem is. But it's like if we could teach people how to self-diagnose.
I like that. Also self-regulate or like adjust.
Well, that's the next step, right?
Yeah, you're right, right.
And so what's happening is people are coming to me asking me for a solution to something. But then when I prompt them to understand more, I realize what they're asking for a solution for isn't even the actual problem. So then we take some steps back,
Mhm.
identify the actual problem,
Mhm.
and then we're in a position to make a plan to go forward.
And I think that that's even like the step forward is them coming to that coaching session, actually saying out loud, this is what and actually getting help. There are so many people that are stuck behind, I would say reason or like their own obstacle. That's my obstacle. And they keep saying the same thing to no one. And then they're not getting proper feedback or proper like, let's pivot here. Let's like, or perspective or whatever. Like there was one girl that said, I'm on a plateau for the past month. What do you suggest? I'm like, well, first of all, I suggest we change your perspective of what's happening. Like, let's start there because imagine you're just living in on a plateau. This is it. I'm on a plateau, everyone. There's nothing to do when you're on a plateau in your brain. So I said, we're gonna like let that go. First of all, the last month, let's think a month ago, it was December 20th. Like if you stayed the same weight in the last month, that's not a plateau. You just survived the holidays. And now we're here and we're moving on. Everyone's on a plateau then. Okay. So I said, that's the last month. And what you should be saying is, all right, now I'd like to lose weight. I need to create a calorie deficit. My current lifestyle is not giving me a calorie deficit. Is there anything I could do right now to start maybe consuming less? Did I want to start moving my body? Do you see how self-questioning, self-awareness versus I'm on a plateau? You see how I'm on a plateau brings you nothing? Like there's nothing to do on a plateau.
It's just sitting in
Yeah.
It's just sitting in, I don't have control. That's where it
Yeah.
is. It's just
Yeah.
sitting in, I don't have control.
Yeah.
It's funny as you're talking and describing like how I've never watched one of your coaching sessions. You probably haven't wanted to watch one of mine. I'm awesome, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Yes, that's why you're here.
Uh, um, but we do the same thing. Like I could tell, like I literally am the same. It's like before we actually, let's talk about your language first.
Yeah,
You
let's
know
talk
what I
about
mean?
the
Like
way you asked me your question.
exactly. I'm a little bit concerned about some of the language you used in your question. And so let's unpack that. It's annoying, but holy moly, it is powerful.
Yes, because they need to realize like the way sometimes the things you say, I'm like, oh, it's all in the what you just said shows me what you think. And I know that what you think and say has a massive impact on what you do. So if I can change what you're thinking and saying, it is going to change what you're going to be doing. So yeah, so when she said that, I'm like, okay, let's just like talk about what you just asked me and then we can move forward.
And you know what? The people that I see having most success from with my advice
Mm.
after the coaching, because it's all good, guys. We can have a great session and we have a
Oh yeah.
talk and we figure out what the problem is, and then you have a plan and you're excited about it. But the people that I see that are really like having success with those moments, they're open to thinking differently.
Oh yeah.
They're open to trying things. They are aware that they are the boss, that they are not a victim of their circumstances, that no one is coming to save them, that this is their responsibility to figure out.
And they do not want to stay put. Like,
Stuck.
yeah, they don't want to stay stuck. And I was thinking that about me the other day, and I'm like, I think I said this in another podcast. Like, I don't want to be put in a bubble where you're telling me that there's no options for me. I hate that bubble. So I am someone that's like, give me a different perspective right now because I don't like being put in a spot where I'm stuck. So I find it very interesting. If you are choosing to stay stuck, you need to self-reflect on that and be like, why do I like to be the way I am? Like, because clearly I'm not even open to, I don't even want to, I want to be on a plateau. Why do you want to be on a plateau? Why do you want to not have a suggestion or a way to get out of this and to keep losing your weight? It's very interesting.
Human behavior, human thought. We still have so much work to do in this world, Jose.
So much work. Okay, well, we're all hoping that you're gonna get better very soon.
Oh, me. Yeah, no, I refuse to let it take my body.
Okay, your knee,
I've
your
been like crushing vitamins. I'm just like taking like quadruple extra vitamins right now. I'm like, I got this.
yes, yeah. It's like my migraine on Monday. I actually sent to my dad, "Fuck my migraine. I'm coming to the studio." Like, he's like, "Well, you can come and move the weights, whatever," and I'm dying. Like, I want to puke.
Jose
Is
Cormier.
no, but like, I'm like, this. I don't have time for a storm and a migraine on the same day. Like, absolutely, there's no time. We want to move on. I want to
Yeah.
move on from the renovations. I want to carry on. So,
Yes.
anyways, I said to Gia, I'm like, I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna double up like Eula. I did one extra strength Tylenol, one extra strength Advil. Let's go. I took a shower, hot shower, and I was like, you got this. Like, kind of wash it off. Change tes idées là. I don't know how to say that in Anglais. Um, but like you just change tes idées, do something else instead of being on the couch on a
Yeah.
platform
Yeah.
and you're like only thinking about the fact that your head hurts. Like I
Yeah.
want to think of something else. I don't want to just sit here.
Yeah.
Now there are some times where that is not possible. You have to go sleep it off because you're going to be sick,
Yeah.
But it's like I knew that I had control over this and I was like, no, I have two spin classes tonight. Like there was no time for this.
No time.
No time. So you're going to take the meds and you're going to take a shower and you're going to get the blood flowing. Know what I mean? So I went and moved some weights and I was like, okay. And then it just kind of went away. I was like, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, refuse. I mean, sometimes you can refuse the cold and sometimes it's just what it is. You know what I mean? It's like that's true. I'm
No.
like, if it's attacking your body, it's attacking your body. But I appreciate you trying.
I really think there's something to be said. Neil, on the other hand, he's like, take me.
Take me.
Take me. Like he's just take me.
I'm on a plateau. Neil is on a plateau.
Oh my goodness. I
Oh my
mean,
God.
there's something to be said about fighting though. And
Yeah,
like
there's definitely there's a space for that. There's a balance there.
yeah.
Okay, so this week there was just like a few things that came up that I was like, oh, like different examples of especially women, moms, and our resources and how we tend to distract ourselves with filling in our time, using our time, filling our day basically. So using our time, our energy, and even our money on other things than ourselves. And obviously, right now I'm creating La Femme qui s'aime because it's next week. And I was like, that's the resource conversation definitely comes up of like, that's all this is. Like you prioritizing yourself. You know how we say that it's a fancy thing, like you prioritize yourself. Good job. Okay. Is literally just putting time, money, and energy on you, on what you want to do. That's literally all this is in a very business form. No?
Yeah.
It really, that's all it is. But I'm not
Prioritizing, when we say prioritize you, it means spending time, money, mental energy on
on
you.
you. Does not include anyone else.
I like it.
It's right simple. Okay. And then what I've realized is often women, especially moms, tend to say they don't have time, money, or whatever energy to do, which are things that they also, no shame. Like sometimes people think they should want to exercise. You know what I mean? But they don't want to. So instead, they're going to use their time, energy, and money on not doing that, which is totally okay. Go for it.
Then we create this like habit almost of creating excuses. And it's like this system where then you start to do it for things that maybe you actually do want to do. Like,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying. And it's often for women, it's what they are, what society says you should do, right? So it's like moving your body, cooking for your family,
Yeah.
eating vegetables, like all of these things that society says. And we want to make an excuse for it. And then we just create this like habit of how we behave.
Yeah.
And speak about how we're behaving.
Yeah, it's just like and also like it's almost like a distraction. And then on top of the exercise, the vegetables, the cooking for your family, then there's the like in society, how to be a really good citizen. So I'm gonna fill my time being a really good human, where I'm gonna give my time, money, and energy to others and things so I look really good, but I am putting zero time, energy, and money on anything that allows me to thrive, feel good in my skin, whatever. Now, this conversation only applies to people that feel like they don't have time to prioritize themselves and it's like a problem. Like I'm overweight, I don't like being overweight, I don't prioritize blah 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 blah. Okay? If everything that you're doing aligns with how you want to live your life, this conversation is not for you because there's no internal conflict. You're doing great. Know what I mean? Like there's no like way to be. Like I'm not saying it's not for a certain activity. For me, this is for the woman that still feels like I'm not prioritizing myself. There's no time for me ever, blah, 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 blah. Um, and I'm like, I just like this week, I realized there was like three different examples of people in my life that I'm like, it's not an excuse, it's a you're distracting yourself from something else right now by filling in your day using your time, energy, and money on this thing that makes you look good. And then you say, I don't have time to do this, but you do. This is how you want to spend it. So here's one example. So there's a Kurt Browning and Elvis Stoiko are coming again to Sussex. She did this last year. It's like a day in a very cold arena with these two celebrities.
A full
Not only
day?
a whole like you're gone for oh yeah. So last time we left at like 6 a.m. and arrived at like 4 p.m. Okay. Now only 2 hours on the ice, but there's like Q&A time as if Dia's gonna ask a question. And what do you ask them? Like, you know what I mean? Anyways. So it's like a whole thing. Like they have like a yoga class in the morning. Sure, cool, cool, cool.
Cute.
Right, cute. And so it definitely takes all of my day. It would take all of my day to be there. $250 for the day. That's just to go there. Doesn't there's other things where you have to lunch, supper, like
Gas.
yeah, you know what I mean? Gas, yeah, time. So, and then I don't go to work, I don't spin. That's money that I don't get there. You know what I mean? Like all of that, okay? So I just like feel for me, I said no. And it's like the other moms are like grabbing onto that, right? I wouldn't want to be the mom that's not signing up her kid for this. And in my mind, I'm like, oh no, like Saturdays are made for like other people's resources. Like we only have so much money, time, and energy at the Cormier household, and we separate it. And like on Saturdays, like I also have another kid that I want to spend time with. I also want to exercise. I want to move my body on that day, and I want to teach my spin class. And anyways, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, and I already have this other thing. There's a group of girls coming down from PI to do a
Yeah.
private step class. So I was like, I already like have plans, like it's already full for that day. Um, but in my mind, I'm like, I feel like a lot of these people are like haven't gone on a date night with their husbands in years because they don't have time or a babysitter. They don't like, and it's all I'm like, no, you're just distracting your time with other things like going to see Elvis Stoiko and whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's always something else that you can fill in your day and use your money on. And if you're not like, no, I'm using it on this, which is for me, it's that piece that's hard, to be like, oh, actually, no, like no more money is being put on figure skating and Dia. And also, like, Dia has 5 days a week that I drive her to that arena. That sixth day is for someone else. Like, there's other humans, and I also count, right? People could say that's selfish or that I'm not. And she went last year. Last year, I used that day for that, but this year, no. Like, this year, we're doing this. So happy she didn't want to go, but it definitely helps with the guilt that
I
she.
was gonna say, but also extra hard when you're in that like social situation and like all the other kids are going. That's hard. Like because that's happening more and more. I feel like within like my kids and their social circles and stuff because they're getting that much older that they're aware of what other people are doing. It's like that
Mm,
social pressure is starting to be a thing for them.
So the reason why I'm saying for especially moms is because you only have so much resources, and yes, you will be giving them to your children. You will be giving your time, you will be giving your money, and you will be giving your energy. Let's be real. And just so you know, the list is never ending of you giving time, energy, and money outside of what you want. It'll never end. So you're pretending that like when they leave, when no, when they leave, then your parents will need you, time, money, and energy. Like if you don't realize that you're sometimes we like forget that we're a human that also deserves resources.
Like what Jose is saying as well is it's not about, oh, there's a clear hour. There's a clear, oh, there's extra $100 in my bank account. Like,
No.
go, here you go. Like, that is literally not how change is going to happen. And I can connect so much to what you're saying because that was me 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Literally 10 years ago, when I had two 1-year-olds and a 3-year-old, I looked around my life and I was teaching full time. Do you remember I was giving extra help like before school, at lunch? I was like not just a good teacher, I was like this.
Yeah.
And I was working at nights. And then I slowly, like, I paused. I literally had a moment where I looked around my life and I realized it was going to be a really long time before I had extra minutes,
Mm,
time, money. We had
mm,
no money.
mm,
My daycare bill was $2,500 a
mm,
month, 2,500, and we were not making a lot of money. Every single month we were in the negative.
mhm.
So I had to find a way to do this with the resources that I had available. And so time, money, mental energy, think about how much mental energy I had. Nothing. I was teaching all these kids. I had 3 kids of my own. I had Neil. Like
Mhm.
it was like holy
Yeah.
moly. And I just literally realized, number one, I was distracting myself by doing everything for everyone. I was going above, there was this noise in my brain that was like, you're not reaching your potential. You're not taking care of yourself. And I would do this.
Mhm.
And how I wouldn't hear that noise is by being so busy.
So busy.
So busy. That's how I quieted that noise. And I really looked around. And once I let that noise in just a little bit, I looked around and realized it was going to be like years,
Yeah.
years before I went, huh, I have extra time, money, and mental energy. Should I spend it on myself now?
Hmm.
And so I decided to just prioritize myself.
That like really when you look at someone you guys and you're like, oh, they seem to like they prioritized whether it's their relationship. And again, like there is no good or bad way to do shit. Like you do you. Again, if it aligns with how you want to live your life and you're not complaining and there is no interior conflict and you're like, I'm doing so good. I love my life. Then carry on. You're crushing it. It's more for the like, there's always that internal battle of like, oh, I'm not doing this or whatever, but at least I'm volunteering. At least I'm whatever. And I'm like, you're using all of your resources. And if you look at someone, you're like, oh, they're doing that. It's the answer is simple. I use the resources I have on me. You don't. You use it on everyone else. Now, if you think that you're not also going to die, like I'm going to die one day, you're going to get some sort of medal or something special for you, you're fucking dead. Who cares? No one, they're going to be like, kumbaya. She was so amazing doing everything for everyone else.
Your medal, guys, should literally be you every single day, laying your head on the pillow, feeling like you like really did the things.
Yes. And just like, man, I am living the life that I want to live. And not
That's
every
the
day being like, oh, being taken advantage of. No one's taking advantage of you. You are distracting yourself with all of these yeses that you are just, instead of saying yes to going for a walk, you're saying yes to other shit that is making you look good. But inside, you feel like shit and you're not feeling connected to yourself. And you're forget that's ça, c'est simple, se prioriser. Je suis comme, faut juste tu mettre du temps, de l'énergie et de l'argent sur toi. Faut que tu dises, oh, sorry, on n'a plus ça. I cannot give more to others. I actually like that's when I do shit for me. And like we need to normalize this to be like,
and
oh no, I'm actually this is my time. Sorry. Like,
And remember, guys, that this conversation is not for anyone living in a bigger body. That is not this
oh
conversation.
no, no, no,
This
no, no, no.
conversation has nothing to do with the size of the body that you are living in.
No,
This
not at all.
conversation, like Jose said at the beginning of the podcast, this is for someone that is like not feeling fully fulfilled. Someone that has that little noise that it's coming that but they're pushing out. That's who this conversation is
You just
for.
don't feel aligned with your life. It's like there's always like knots and like internal conflict on what you should be doing. Like I should be exercising. I should be living in a smaller body. I feel like shit. You go upstairs and you're like, oh, what is this? Oh, but it's okay because everyone around me is happy. What about toi? Oh, ben.
And I also want to say that I know it's hard, you guys.
Mm,
Like I need to remind you that I started like I am still very much a helicopter mom, but I was like next level, and I think a lot of it had to do with how I started my life as a mom. Like Neil and I had no one. My parents were in Fredericton and dealing with health issues. Neil's parents didn't live in the country. And we had this like horrible baby, and I was breastfeeding as well, right? So no one else could keep him alive.
yeah.
No one else could stop him crying.
If
So
you,
it was like he needs me
yeah.
all the time. And it was so hard at first, but it was the littlest, tiniest steps towards prioritizing me.
Hmm.
As ridiculous as we're leaving the house, and I also take the extra 3 seconds to fill up my own water bottle.
Yeah.
And then you slowly, and now fast forward 10 years, and I'm like, the thought that I can go on a trip without my kids is like crazy to me. I wouldn't even go for a 10-minute walk. I'd feel
Yeah.
guilt.
Yeah.
So you have to start, like, if you're like, but how do I start? You have to start. Take tiny
Especially
little
if you're at
things.
that extreme where it's like you literally think that your kids cannot survive without you. You
Yep.
have to like, they can survive maybe 10 minutes without you.
Yeah.
And then they show you, you know what, I can do 10 minutes without you. Wow, like I've no one died. And then we do 15. And then like that's how you can build it. You know what I mean? Because it's all like you could die tomorrow and your kids will keep going. Like Elfie would have taken the bottle. Like, you know what I mean? Like he would have survived. Like you're like, he cannot live without me. Yes, he would have taken formula. Know what
He
I mean?
can't
Like,
live.
but
No
you
one
didn't
can live
see
without
even
me.
that as a possibility. Like, no, you know, but I'm like, but it is a thing, like it's there. It would have at least calmed down the stress and the anxiety of there's no other option. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
But it's the part where I'm like, it won't be easy because it is not the norm. Like it's not typical to be like, oh, actually, like no, like I'm doing this and it's for me. Like it's for the mom. Like the mom chooses herself. Like that's still not the norm.
It's uncomfortable. It's going to
Oh,
feel uncomfortable, you guys,
yeah.
when you,
And you will get comments maybe like from people
oh,
or like you'll,
I'll,
yeah.
I have this guy that walks in my neighborhood, and he knows I have a family. And he literally asks me every time on my walk where the children are.
Yeah.
With their dad,
Yeah. With their dad, with their, yeah.
the
Like,
other guy
yeah.
that was
And
there when they were made. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm like and we're so lucky that we have dads that like both Jeff and Neil are very present dads. Like they're always home, they're always kind of doing their thing. Like they're so like the other day I was teaching a spin class and Dia's texting me
of
about
course.
something and I'm like abs and she's on the mom's phone and I answered I'm working. Like I am this is work. Like I am
Yeah.
teaching a spin class. Like I can't be like fixing your whatever. Like you need to text dad. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, your dad is there. He's just doing nothing. Like, you know what I mean? And
I get texts often.
get texts often. Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not, I don't see that as like, I feel like we're just showing that they can have help from someone else. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Do you know who was really good at setting boundaries as a mom? Linda Stafford.
mm. It's so
Like
interesting that though we're struggling with that.
big time. I mean, look at you. You don't
It's the
mom.
opposite. Like I'm the opposite of my mom.
Yeah, no, my mom was like very much like the career woman, and like my dad worked from home, right? So he did a lot of like he would make us muffins, he would drive us places. I
Right.
remember when I was 12, I was like doing my own laundry. I was like getting supper ready for the family, and my mom was like very much like, "No, I'm at work."
But listen, so interesting because, okay, so we still both grew up thinking that, like, even with, we had different moms, right? So different, kind of different, what they did. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and her whole identity was being my mom. But like, I thought that's why I grew up thinking like I'm also going to be a stay-at-home mom and I am going to
Oh,
love
really?
the mom and I'm going to just go pick them up at school and I'm not going to make money because she doesn't make money. Know what I mean? Like it was just like and then I started off that way. Like I started off like early on like I that kept for a long time until I got to be like I want to be an entrepreneur like my dad. And I feel like look at you like you're your mom now where you're like a career woman and you're like no, I got this, you know what I mean? So it's I feel like there's what I'm trying to say is the strength or the power of social pressure of the woman, and us being so maternal, or like that would be the only thing, that we can do multiple things, that we can wear multiple hats. And it could also stay the whole time, you know what I mean? But that it wow, the just the power of when we're little girls and we think of later on, that we're all, moms, and not really thinking about careers or whatever in that sense. And often even like we chose both to be teachers, which are very female. What are you going to be when you grow up? You're going to be a teacher, you
You're
know?
still taking care of other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So
it's like
like,
literally like
yeah,
I'm helping you.
yeah,
It's very giving. Like
yeah,
when you're a
very
teacher,
giving.
you are giving, giving, giving energy, so much energy.
Like teacher or nurses is what
Oh,
every female want it to be. You know what I mean? Like I felt like every little girl is like, I'm going to be Emery, I'm going to be married. And you know what I mean? Just like that fairy tale, whatever, which is sweet. And we grew up with that. But yeah, I feel like now it's like you can make money different ways, and you can, so I don't know, it's very interesting.
hopefully you guys from this conversation, it
Yeah.
it prompted you to potentially reflect on your own resources, time, money, time, money, mental energy, and where are you spending them, and how's your like pendulum? Like we all have, it's like my needs, my family's needs,
Yeah.
and we all have a place where we feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And here's where society thinks you should be. Maybe you feel comfortable here or
Yeah.
here. Like find where you're at, but just check in with yourself.
Check in. And I was just going to say, like, how important do you feel in your life? And not because you think your kids are going to die without you. That's not what I mean. Like, how seen are you being seen? Are you not valued? Like, oh, people think I'm amazing, but like, oh, it's hard because people will always connect it to other people. And I want you to connect it to yourself. Like, how important do you see? How seen do you see yourself? Oh, it's hard to explain, but like from the inside, because also like if you think of you and I, we don't live with a lot of like stress or like, oh, it's too much in life and I'm pushed here and I'm pushed there. Like we never talk that way, because I really think that we feel like we live the life we want to live. And guys, we are people that put our resources on ourselves a lot. And also you see us with our kids. We give a lot of our resources to our kids as well, and to our friendships, and to our nights out with our spouses and friends and whatever. Like there's more to life than just serve, serve, serve. Like you serve yourself. They're all important. All meaningful relationships are important. It's just like you have one with yourself as well. So I think that would be a great reflection. Like, do I feel like my only worth and importance is for others? Like, do I see my own person as an individual? And am I serving that person? And a lot of people would say no, sadly. You know what I mean? And how do you know? A lot of internal conflict, a lot of like complaining, stress, never feel enough, always expecting others to help you out. Know what I mean? I'm like, interesting. Like, I don't expect you. I got this. I got my shit. You got your shit. Um, so those would all be like trigger warnings, like red signs, like
Signs.
signs that you might not be using resources on what you actually want to do. And
Hmm.
like Alicia said, start little by little. Start with
Tiny little
things that you're
changes.
like, I cannot feel guilty for a walk, a 10-minute walk. That's actually ridiculous. Like that, like to the point where you're like, no, like I'm not allowing any guilt for a 10-minute walk. And then you will go for a week in down south. We'll go from a 10-minute walk to a week down south without the kids. Okay, you guys?
And you know what, guys? When I do go away, I do feel guilt. It feels uncomfortable. But I still push past those. That's the point I want you to get. Like there are still moments where I spend resources on me that
Mhm.
it is hard for me and I do feel guilt, but I push through because I know it is an opportunity for me and my children.
Yes, and live in experience. And you could be like, that was terrible. I'm gonna wait till they're a little bit older, because you can go when they're really little and you're like, fuck, that was terrible. For them, for you, whatever. You can make a decision after you've done it. You can make a decision after your 10-minute walk and be like,
I
you got
love that.
terrible. You know
I
what I
love
mean?
that.
It's fine. Like, okay, you're not ready. C'est correctlo.
Yeah.
At least you would have lived it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the guilt, that's like you're not doing anything bad. Guilt is saved for like really bad things on purpose to other people. And that is not what this is happening.
Okay.
That's what guilt is. When you do something on purpose to hurt someone else, and then you feel guilt because you're like, that was not in my moral compass, moral standards.
I
You're going
like
for a
that.
10-minute walk at it. Breathe. You're not doing anything bad. No one's in danger.
You might die if you go outside right now for a 10-minute walk, though, because it's -35.
Don't go right now. Wait till it's nice out. I don't give a fuck. Just like you need to do something. About. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I just want to tell women that they could like, and nothing's bad's gonna happen. Like it's like we feel like we want to be so important. You know
And
what I
that's the thing when you experience it and you're like, oh, everyone survived. Then you have that experience to anchor your next decision. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't make supper, but no one died. They figured something out. That
Yes,
was awesome.
they definitely do. Yeah. It was so funny. Okay, so that was the thing. They wanted to go to McDonald's. And that's why she was texting me. And she wanted to know if they could go to McDonald's. I'm the type of mom that if I have given you my child as like, I needed to like come and teach a class. And it was like, so I basically gave my child to someone, hey, can you take care of my child? I'm
Okay.
not gonna have rules. Like you're the one
No,
with my child. Like, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like I do that with my mom. Like if they're on the iPad all weekend, and just keep them alive is
Uh,
my only rule. Keep them alive. Please do not make sure they don't die.
yeah,
Other than that, thank you for taking care. And I'm doing my own shit. Like I have no rules.
same. Same.
So anyway, so she's texting me and I'm like, wee, like I'm working. Like, don't text me to know if you can go to McDonald's. Like, I don't. I'm the mom that doesn't care. First of all, I'm the yes parent. Your dad is the no parent. Um,
That's why she's texting you, Anuja.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel anyway, so I talked to the mom after. She's like, she was so funny. She said, I told her, I said, I want to make sure that when you say rules, like it's not because it's McDonald's. Like I wanted the mom
Yes.
because
Yeah.
people think that I'm the person that's like, my kids need to eat healthy. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you really don't follow me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just want to make sure. She's like, no. She said the rule that I didn't want to break is that like maybe Jeff made her supper, and then like I'm bringing her to supper, and then she goes that Dia said, oh, you don't know how it works at my house. Like there's no supper waiting for me. It was freaking funny. She's like, I'm gonna arrive. They're gonna ask me what I want, and then they're gonna make me supper. But like, there's no supper waiting.
No.
So it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then the mom who knows me really well, she's like, I knew that she was right, but it was funny hearing her say that. Just like, you know how it works at my house. There's no supper waiting. Like, you make supper when you get home. I'm like, well, she knows how it works.
So funny.
So funny. Okay, anyways, have a great day, you guys. What's up at Your Right Weight Loss right now? We've got our programs are started. You guys can still join at any time. They're all uploaded. And so you could be like, okay, I'm gonna start Jose's, week 1. You could watch them every day if you wanted, whatever. But that's what's up at Your Right Weight Loss right now. We've got 3 programs on the go. We've got a wellness with Alicia, we've got mindset with me, and we've got weight loss with Andre Claude. So if you're like, you know what, January started, I could use a little extra pep in my step. I could use, extra conversations, extra conversations,
All
extra
the
awareness.
conversation. Awareness. Yes.
So you can join any membership and you'll have access to all of that on top of having access to team, the community, and monthly is just $49, you guys. So like you can use this resource on you instead of 225 for Elvis Stoico.
Time, money,
Yeah.
mental energy.
Yeah.
You need all 3 to
All
be a
3.
Your Weight Loss member.
Yeah.
But you deserve it.
Yeah. And that's you working on you.
Yep.
Okay. Good talk, everyone. Bye.
Bye.